where are you going to get married? Do you know where you're going to get married? Are you one of those little girls who always imagined the perfect wedding, what it was going to be, what you were going to wear, what it was going to look like, what your groom was going to look like? I'm not. I never was that little girl, and I feel like, is that a bad thing? Okay, so for real though, let's talk about picking out a venue, because this was the most stressful thing. Well, as I thought about it, I thought of other ones, but this was definitely the most daunting task. So I'm from upstate New York. Most of my family, a lot of my friends, still in upstate New York. Steve, my fiance, he's from Minnesota. Most of his family is there, a lot of his friends are there, and we both live here in Los Angeles, California. So that's where we live now. So where, if you were us, would you get married? We picked Minnesota. That's where I went to college. That's where Steve and I met. Moving on, so now we've got our location. We've decided, you know, it's gonna be long distance planning. That's gonna be stressful. A lot of people are gonna have to fly there, and that's gonna be expensive. And then there's accommodations, and we're gonna have to figure all that stuff out too. But where in Minnesota do we get married? Newsflash, did you know that even a year in advance, I looked at places like a year before we got married. No availabilities on a Saturday. And if you're having a long, a wedding where people have to commute there, like a long distance wedding, you kind of have to have it on a Saturday. So that was a necessity for us. We tried to, maybe consider having it on a Friday or having it on a Sunday. It's cheaper. It is way cheaper. Cheapest day to get married, Sunday. Well, if you want a weekend, it's also cheaper to get married during the week, but cheapest time to get married, Sunday, around Christmas. What we ended up doing is we had settled on a place, and we were gonna do it on a Sunday, and finally we're just like, no, we're not doing that. So we went back to the drawing board and looked at a bunch of other places, and then what ended up happening is kind of a miracle. This is a place I really liked online, but I never saw it in person. But I had asked them if they have any availabilities in a Saturday around, the fall, and they said no. They sent me an email saying, we had a sudden opening. And it wasn't just to me, it was to me and 4 other brides. And they were like, the person who gets back to us soonest and gives us a deposit, that's where it's gonna go. And so I immediately was like, she sent it to me at 4:50 and now it's 5 o'clock, and oh no, in Minnesota time, not California time, because the time is different. And so I was so stressing, and so I wrote her an email, and then I called and left a message. Ultimately, if you are trying to pick out a wedding venue, kind of weigh the odds. Something else we also thought about, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but we started thinking about our grandparents, and because we want our grandparents to be there, and we're like, who's gonna travel the best? If you find yourself stuck, kind of go with your heart. I think you'll know deep down inside, even though I didn't want to admit it, I knew I kind of wanted to have it in Minnesota. That's it for me. I'll see you next post.